2 fall concert, Dance the Night Away. Each musical number will represent a different dance. You'll hear a waltz, a tango, 2 folk dances, and a wild, frenetic dance offered to a pagan god, quite a variety. Before we begin, please silence all cell phones and electronic devices, and please do not take flash photography during the performance. Videography and non-flash photography are permitted. And now, please welcome our concert master, Sebastian Pratt, to the stage. Gentlemen, please welcome our conductor, Mrs. Megan Martz. Our first piece is Hopek by Modest Mussorgsky. Hopek is the final number in his comic opera, The Fair at Surontshansa, bringing the opera to a close with wild dancing and celebration. Interestingly, the opera was never performed during Mussorgsky's lifetime, as he had not yet completed it at the time of his death in 1881. Other composers finished it, and it finally premiered in England in 1936. 55 years after Mussorgsky's death. The Hopek is the national dance of Ukraine, and it was created by Cossack soldiers as a way to celebrate a victorious battle. The soldiers were young, boisterous mercenaries, not professional dancers, so their dance steps were improvised. During each man's solo, his steps reflect his sense of manliness, heroism, speed, and strength. Hopeks are thrilling to watch because of the many acrobatic jumps, spins, leaps, and repeated squats they contain. The dancers are allowed to change tempo at any point, but Hopeks always end on a fast and furious pace. Our performance tonight is no exception, so get ready for Opus 2's exciting rendition of Hopek. Strauss the second was an Australian composer of light music, particularly dance music. He composed over 500 waltzes, polkas, and other types of dance music, as well as several operettas and a ballet. In his lifetime, he was known as the Waltz King, and was largely responsible for the popularity of the waltz in Vienna during the 19th century. His father, Johann Strauss I, was also a composer. Knowing the rigors and difficulties of a musician's life, the boy's father did not want him to become a musician, but rather a banker. Nevertheless, Strauss Jr. studied the violin secretly. When his father discovered him practicing one day, he gave him a severe whipping, saying that he was going to beat the music out of the boy. However, when the father abandoned his family for a mistress, Strauss Jr. was finally able to focus all his efforts on a career as a composer. The Blue Danube Waltz, written in 1866, is one of Johann Strauss Jr.'s most popular compositions. After the music was written, a poet added words to the song, but the instrumental version is by far the most performed. As you listen to its familiar melody, imagine a ballroom filled with elegant and graceful dancers twirling around the dance floor to this timeless Viennese waltz. Ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Danube. Johannes Brahms was a German composer who spent most of his life in Vienna, Austria. He was a bit eccentric and found himself the butt of jokes for his long beard, his cheap outfits, often without socks, his daily visits to a local tavern, and his habit of walking with his hands firmly behind his back. Brahms was kind to children, but with adults he was often brisk and sarcastic. He alienated many people, but those who remained his friends were treated with loyalty and generosity. Brahms often gave away large sums of money to friends and made secret donations to struggling musicians and students. A great deal of his wealth came from the Hungarian dances, a set of 21 lively dance tunes based mostly on Hungarian themes and folk songs. Of the 21 dances, number 5 is the most famous, but it is the only one not based on a traditional folk song. Instead, it came from Chardash, written by another composer of Brahms' day, but Brahms mistook it for an old folk song. Known to be an uncompromising perfectionist who sometimes destroyed his own works and left others unpublished, it's surprising that Brahms did not destroy Hungarian Dance No. 5 when he learned of his mistake. Thankfully, it survived. For the adult members of Opus 2, including Megan, our director, this piece holds fond memories. Opus 2's founder, Dr. Eugene Reichenfeld, loved Hungarian Dance No. 5, and he always encouraged the musicians to play it with intense fire and passion like the gypsies did. During rehearsals, Megan told the kids to play it like Dr. Reichenfeld would play it. You have to feel it in your heart and then let it pour out of you. So, just for tonight, we are all gypsies and the Hungarian Dance No. 5 is our song. written by an American composer, Miss Susan Day. Miss Day is a string educator in Colorado, teaching children in all grade levels. She currently directs an elementary string program, and she is also a violinist with the Arapahoe Philharmonic. She has written more than 40 string compositions and has won many awards, both as a teacher and a composer. Her piece, Tango Misterioso, gained recognition in 2011 when it won the Texas Orchestra Directors Association Composition Contest. When this piece was given to the members of Opus 2, it quickly became a favorite. On their own, the students began using it as their warm-up piece prior to rehearsal, simply because they enjoy playing it so much. Obviously, the piece represents the tango, a fiery, passionate dance. Tango originated in the lower class districts of Buenos Aires, Argentina, and Montevideo, Uruguay, but it was strongly influenced by African slave dances and European music. In the early 1900s, the tango spread throughout South America as street musicians played it in the working class slums, which were packed with European immigrants. Then, as dancers and orchestras from Buenos Aires traveled to Europe, the tango caught on worldwide. Toward the end of 1913, the tango craze finally hit New York City. If you're a fan of Dancing with the Stars, then you know that there are two distinct types of tangos commonly performed today, the ballroom tango and the Argentine tango. Each uses different music and styling. Ballroom tangos feature more staccato movements and head snaps, and Argentine tangos feature intricate intertwining of the legs and feet of the dancers. No matter which form, it has been said that tango increases hormone levels and makes people feel less depressed, more relaxed, and vibrant. Let's see if that's true as Opus 2 performs Tango Misterioso by Susan Day. composer, organist, conductor, and pianist of the Romantic era. Saint-Saëns was born in Paris, France, on October 9, 1835. His father died 3 months later, so he was raised by his mother. When he was still a toddler, a great aunt introduced him to the piano and began giving him lessons. At the age of 2, Saint-Saëns was found to have perfect pitch. He learned to read and write by age 3, and he wrote his first composition, a little piece for the piano, when he was just 3½ years old. His musical talent developed quickly, and he gave his first public concert when he was 5. Then, when he was 13, Saint-Saëns entered the Paris Conservatory, where he studied organ and composition. At the age of 16, he wrote his first symphony. In 1877, when he was 42, his opera, Samson and Delilah, was first performed. It, of course, is based on the Old Testament biblical story of Samson and Delilah, found in chapter 16 of the book of Judges. Our piece occurs near the end of the opera. At this point, Samson has been betrayed by Delilah and is a prisoner of her people, the Philistines. The people are at the temple of Dagon, where Samson is in chains, and the Philistines are preparing a sacrifice to commemorate their victory. The priests and priestesses sing softly at first, but then the music becomes more and more intense as their ceremony turns into a wild, drunken bacchanal, a dance to Bacchus, the god of wine, intoxication, and ecstasy. Under the influence of the wine, the people lose their inhibitions and dance themselves into a frenzy as the spirit of Bacchus possesses them. Saint-Saëns' music captures this scene perfectly, building in intensity as it races to its explosive and exhausting conclusion. We now bring you Bacchanal. gentlemen, thank you for coming, and we hope that you enjoy tonight's concert. Opus 2 simply could not exist without the support of our patrons and friends, so please consider making a donation. There will be baskets at the doors as you leave. These funds help underwrite the cost of the orchestra and allow us to give scholarships to our graduating seniors. We know it's a little early, but have a safe and blessed holiday season. We hope to see you on Sunday, December 4th for Opus 2's performance of holiday music at the Monroeville Barnes & Noble. Details on this and